Oh, all right, that's what we want to hear. Oh, and let me change, where's my name? My name.
Wait, in my blunt, in my lighter, in my ashtray.
Y'all tune in. We got GP.
Shout it out, what it do? You know what I'm talking about it? Ah.
We in. Man, wait 1 second. Let me do this.
Shout it out, what it do?
All right. All right, y'all. All right. Y'all better get ready for this interview because I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all know I'm special, right? So I can ask some things that my brother is gonna, answer for me. Because honestly, this is my bro. Hey, Geneva. um, get ready, get ready. We're gonna hear about Genaro Patterson. We're gonna hear about GP the Beast. We're gonna hear about the boss man. Okay, we're gonna hear everything.
You're
So
gonna hear about the country beast. You ain't heard about the country beast?
no, but I'm into that trail ride music. You done look. I done got into the. I done look. I done hooked up and interviewed one of them Southern Soul Blues artists.
Yeah,
Yes, he was going live on Facebook, and I was like, "I want to interview you." He said, "Leave, let's do it."
for sure. You already
Roop,
know.
wait a minute, hold on. We got Roop Dog, man, my family. What's up,
Roof,
Roop?
man, Roof Dog, man, tell Roof Dog I said, what's up,
He's
dog?
watching. Roop is watching. We gonna get him on too. In fact, I'm soon to talk about his journey and the story with the cancer.
For
It's like,
sure. I just seen, I was talking about Roof Dog. It's crazy. I was talking about him that day, and I end up seeing him later on that day, and I hadn't seen him in years. And they
yeah,
had told me he had fought cancer, he was fighting cancer, and it was crazy. I seen him.
yeah. I went up to the hospital and saw him.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sitting in the waiting room thinking they gonna take me to the room. Here he coming. And I was like, what are you doing? Why are you running around?
All
You know
right,
what I mean? But that's Root. That's just Root.
man, he gonna stay with it, man. You know what I'm talking about?
All right. So let's go ahead and get this interview started. Y'all, I usually do like an hour, but on this, I put the time for like an hour and a half because I don't know what we're gonna do. All
For
right.
sure.
So let's talk about Genaro Patterson. What was Genaro Patterson like in elementary?
You know, I be asking people what I really was like, to be honest, because I probably don't remember everything, but I know I was an inquisitive type of child. I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to know why things worked the way they worked and why they was the way they was. Even as a child, I remember asking myself, like, why are we broke? Why are we born broke? Why is there a richer part of the city and a poor part of the city? And, at one time when I was born like that, for a second, at a small period of time, I thought since we was born broke, we was gonna always be broke until I realized that the people that was rich, somebody in their family made them rich. So I came to the conclusion that we broke, but we got the chance to become rich where our children can grow up and be rich so they don't have the thoughts that I had. But although I wasn't able to accomplish that goal, I've been chasing that ever since, though.
Man. So so like in elementary, were you quiet, shy? What?
I think I was kind of like to myself. I knew I used to draw a lot. I used to draw on my desk. I was really good at drawing. We had a crew, you know what I'm saying? We had a small crew. I was always the littlest, but it seemed like I was the one, you know what I'm saying, putting down the game plan, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's how it was for me. I was smart. I caught on real quick, and I realized I couldn't be a punk, you know what I'm saying? that went against me being able to actually tell somebody, man, we're gonna do it like this, because it's always gonna be some combativeness. And I just, as a kid, man, I wanted to dream. I had goals, I just wanted to be good at everything. I wanted to be good at sports, but I realized I wasn't good at sports. I
Mhm.
was so good, but never good enough to get the bag or nothing like that. So I knew that wasn't my lane.
Okay. What about junior high?
In junior high, that's when I really knew it wasn't sports. The sports people play sports. And again, I used to skip school, but every time it was a test, I would show up. They would tell me, man, we got a test today. It's crazy. I would go in school, and the whole first 20 minutes while he telling everybody prepare for the test, I open a book and just start studying real quick, glancing through stuff real fast.
Oh, really?
And then the next day they would be like, bro, how you do that? I'd be like, what you mean? They'd be like, bro, your name on the board, you got the best score on the test. I'd be like, shit, I don't know. But I just felt like things was like common sense to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Once you gave me that lane, I was able to figure it out. The only thing I really didn't like was history, right? I didn't like history because I liked it, but I always felt like, they wasn't giving us the truth on our history. And I always felt like, why we only had history for 1 week? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How could you tell the whole history in 1 week? So, and I would hear other things. We talk to our parents and they'd be like, nah, I ain't like that. Woo, woo, woo. So I didn't really like history because I felt like they didn't give us the truth, but it gave me enough. It gave me enough to know that we really wasn't from the United States and we was really brought over here and that things ain't gonna be fair for us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. True. All right. What about high school?
High school, man, I started sprouting, man. In high school, I was the nigga. In junior high, I was actually selling joints in the hallway. In high school, now I'm leaving the school. I'm going to sell weed in the plazas all day, but I'm coming back to school. One thing about me, I'm coming back to school. While everybody else, at the game, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be up there, man, selling weed and stuff. At the snack shops. When I hear the crowd go off, I'm gonna run and look and see, who scored the touchdown. But
Uh,
it's crazy because I hustled and I always had my own parking spot. I parked in the same spot every day. I felt like I was a boss. I had a little Cadillac. You
I
know
was
what I'm
about to say,
saying?
what was your first car?
Now, my first car was a car that was sitting out in front of the house, and they was about to take it. I happened to be outside. The people came and they put a mark on the side on the street, and I said, "Why y'all doing that?" They said, "This car got 48 hours, so we're gonna take it." I said, "Take it where?" He said, "We're gonna tow it away." So I'm like, "Whoa!" So it was my brother's car, but I was about 15, 14 or 15. My brother had abandoned the car, but I knew my dad had bought him the car. So I asked my brother, man, let me have this car. You don't want it? He said, I don't want that shit. I said, all right, cool. So I called my dad. I said, Dad, my brother don't want the car, but they about to take the car. They put the mark on it. I said, can I have it? He said, hey, if he said you could have it, you could have it.
Uh,
So I just moved the car up about, 10 feet because I couldn't fix it. That way it won't be on the same mark, right? You can't do that
right.
nowadays. But
Uh-huh.
back then you could move it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I moved it and fixed it. It happened to be a Buick Skylark. The dude down the street, I got it started. Me and my partners went and stole some car battery. We got it started, but it wouldn't move. I didn't understand why it didn't move. So after about 3 hours, I walked down the street. I went back. I was about to go to the plaza, the hood again. And the old dude see me. He said,
Uh,
what's wrong? The car won't move? I said, no. He said, here, put some of this in it. That's when I found out about transmission fluid. I put that up in there and I was gone. I bought a sticker that said ass, gas, or grass. Nobody rides for free. And we was rolling. Yeah.
Man. Okay, so then you had a Cadillac, you said, right?
Man, I got Cadillac. So after I started really getting some money, start hustling in the streets, I bought my first Cadillac. I bought my first Cadillac with my dad again. My dad always was in the cars. It ended up becoming full circle for me to end up coming back in the cars hella years later. So
Uh-huh.
my dad was in the cars. So, I used to do body and fender work with him. He always had his own body shops. And, I bought a Cadillac. I bought a clean ass Cadillac, a 1968 with the fifth wheel on the trunk. You didn't have no paint job. It had the primer on there. We guy coated it, man, with like a little orange kind of color and put the white walls on it, and it was clean. I had the bull horns in the back and put the music in the thing, and I was rolling. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Man, you just bring back memories. Whew.
Man,
That fifth wheel, that
that
fifth
fifth
wheel.
wheel, man, and them bull horns, man, and all that type, and the 2-inch white walls. I might not even had a lot of meat on my car, but as long as it had 2-inch white walls, it was good enough, man. Let me get them right there, man. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
oh my goodness. Man, so when did Genaro get music into the music? When did that
So
come about?
the music didn't come about until I actually went to prison.
Oh.
I went to prison for well, then again, I became like a baller. So I became like a baller when crack came. When crack came, I became a baller. I actually not like a baller. I was balling out of control on that shit. So
Mhm.
and that's when I also kind of like became like a rapper, but I wasn't serious. I was just, we'll pull up in the house parties and I'll be like, GP up in here, man, let me get the mic. And Too Short was out back then. So I'm like, yeah, man, it's GP the boss. And I'm just rapping and shit, but they liking this shit. Cause I'm telling the truth about how I'm living, the Cadillacs and shit. Cause I didn't bought Cadillacs now I didn't got new shit. I didn't bought new shit. The nigga Crumb back in the day was balling. I
Oh,
bought I bought a Cadillac off him. You know what I'm saying? And I bought a did I buy a Cadillac? No, I bought a Cadillac off him. Oh yeah, then I bought the Barrettes. I put the Barrettes on them 15 eighths. Dana Danes was going crazy. Ain't nobody never seen it pushing like that. It was sticking out like this. It was just crawling. You know what I'm saying? I had the Seville, the sky blue with the white top. Yeah, I had the drop, you know what I'm saying, with the white guts on the triple gold Dayton's. You know what I mean? All that from hustling. So until I didn't really start, I was rapping, playing around, but we wasn't making no tapes. But my
mhm.
boy Damon, rest in peace. My boy Damon was making beats, and I used to go over there and rap.
Mhm.
I really thought he was gonna make it because he was raw. He was really into the beats, but he ended up getting killed. And but before he got killed, I ended up catching my case, and I went to the feds. He ended up getting killed that same year, like a couple months later.
Mhm.
So it was starting right there, but where it really kicked off was when I went to jail. I went to
Okay.
jail and I just started writing, and we didn't have music, and I ended up getting found guilty. They gave me 10 years. I went to trial. They gave me 10 years. That's the first time when they came out with the conspiracy. And,
Mhm.
I was in federal institutions, so they were sending me places where it wasn't no music. It was just some
Mhm.
country shit or some rock and roll. It wasn't no black music at all.
Mhm.
So in order to have music, I used to write my raps for myself to entertain myself. But then when I got out, let out to sell and go to the yard, I used to rap for the niggas that was out there. And they
Mhm.
was like on that shit. They started feeling that shit. And before you know it, I was like rapping for all the prisons everywhere I went. I became like the nigga.
Mhm. So how'd you come up with GP the Beast?
Well, see, I came up with GP the Beast like this. So they didn't call me GP the Beast when I went to the pen. When I went to the feds, they called me Notorious. They had named me Notorious. um, I got GP the Beast after I got out. So I got out and I started smashing again. It's a new era. I
Mhm.
start pimping and shit, and I'm smashing. And I had the little weed spot the drive-through with the gate with the pretty female behind, and you just drive up, hand them, put your money through the hole, and then she give you the weed, but you don't never get to come in. You know what I'm saying? It's the only drive-through. You pass up, it's always fat bags somewhere, ain't no talking. Get this shit and keep going. So I'm sitting out in front of it one day, and I'm in my white STS. You know what I'm saying? With the green, I had the light green tinted windows with the it had some, it was like green and yellow, but it was all white. It was clean as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So they came out with the new phones. They had came out with the Nokia, right?
Uh-huh.
So I got the Nokia phone, but I don't know how to put my name in it. So I give it to a youngster, that be pushing around in the hood. I said, man, put my name up in there. So when he give it back, I read it. I said, GP the Beast. I said, why you put that? You know what I'm saying? And that nigga said, cause nigga, you a beast up in these streets, bruh.
What?
I said, okay, I like that. You know what I'm saying? And then I came out with the album, GP the Beast, because I was fresh out the feds, and that's when I came out with Finally. So when I came out with the album, that was my second album. I have already came out with Finally, but I came out with my second album. It was GP the Beast. The streets had named me GP the Beast.
Do you ever run into the that youngster? That
Man, I ran into him. I know him. I know him to this day, but for all these years, nobody never knew. But he ended up telling my son one day, he said, man, I'm the one gave him that name. And my son was like, nigga, okay, you ain't get it, nigga, that name. And I said, when he told me, I said, yeah, that nigga is the one who gave me the name. He like, for
oh,
real? Yeah, it was my nigga Dub. That nigga gave it to me. We call him Dub. You know what I'm saying? Name Doug. We call that nigga. He the one gave me the name though, for
oh,
real. And it's stuck.
wow,
And it was real shit. And it's been the beast ever since. You know what I mean?
wow. So, do you come from a big family? Now we know your brother Kingdom, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Shout out to Kingdom.
Man,
Uh,
shout out to Kingdom, man. Kingdom, me and Kingdom about to do this country album too. I got
what?
the new country album out, about to come out real soon. It's called me, I'm the country beast now. You know what I'm saying? And the album is called The Outlaw. So don't miss out on that. If you've been tapping in, you've been seeing my little clips of my videos. I'm going crazy. I got this one cut called Whiskey Love going crazy. So me and Kingdom, we working on a second album, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's this new flavor. This like that alternative music. This that new flavor. It's a league all by itself. Ain't no copycat. You ain't never heard it before, so you might want to tap in with your boy, man. Yeah.
Y'all heard that? Y'all hear that? So
Mhm.
it's you and Kingdom. How many other siblings?
So I got a big family. It was like six brothers and sisters. I was in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I was the middle child.
Uh-huh.
My brother Bunkin, Robert, rest in peace. He got killed. He got shot by the police. They shot him in his back. So I didn't had a whole lot of tragedy in my life. My other brother, Conrad, he's from Oak Park. He got shot. He got shot in the eye, in the face when he was only 16 or 15. He was about to turn 16 because, we was waiting to, get our whips and shit. I was going to pull up on him because he only 2 days younger than me. You know what I'm saying? So I've been going through tragedy, and, I got other brothers. I got my other brothers, and I got three sisters. And I got two sisters. Yeah, two sisters. But I got three. I really got three though. And but so I grew up in the middle. You know what I mean? So when you the middle child, you kind of gonna get looked over. You know what I mean? You kind of gotta scrabble for yours, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you in the middle. You know what I mean? You ain't the baby and you ain't the oldest. And I don't know how it be, but I always felt like, man, if you was the baby, you got the most love, and if you was the firstborn, you got the most love. You know what I'm saying? So, I probably felt like that because I was in the middle, though. You know what I mean? That part.
Yeah. So has any of your other siblings do music besides you and Kingdom?
For sure. It run through our family. My mom, she used to put us on stage.
Oh,
She used to make us perform. In the living room. We would turn out all the TVs off and put the music on and the lights, and my mom would have us perform even if we didn't want to do it. We kind of like had to do it, but we end up learning to enjoy it, and that's why we ain't afraid of the stage. That's why, with all this new social media, it ain't no problem for us to get on it. You know what I mean? She embedded us like that. That's why we got Tim, we got Mozzie, you know what I'm talking about? We got my nieces, we got people in our family that's talented, but everybody don't choose, to do music. But
mm,
the ones that felt dearly hearted about it and really tried to push it, you know, Mozzie, he became a success. He became a rapper, you know what I'm saying, because his uncle was a rapper, and his uncle was a boss in the street. So, you know what I'm saying? Of course, he wanted to, follow the same pattern.
I can't wait to see him because I just can't believe that I put him on TV years ago and I didn't know that was him to this day. That because when JD told me, he was like, Alita, you got footage. And I was like, yeah. He goes, you got Mozzie. I was like, what do you mean I got Mozzie? He was like, he was little Tim when you was interviewing us back in days. I said, shut up. So I put Mozzie on TV. I was the first one.
Man, you probably wanted. I'm telling you, I said, man, when you hit me the other day, I said, man, Alita's still doing her thing. We've been rocking, we've been doing interviews, you know what I'm saying, fucking with you, way back then. And I was really proud to hear that. I salute you for that, you know what I mean? Stay pushing, you
Thank
know what I
you.
mean? For
Thank
sure.
Thank you. Ever since, me, I'm gonna let everybody know, everybody's watching. Hey, Doris. Um, ever since me and GP met, we've been like brother and sister like this.
Man, for sure.
You know
Man,
what I mean? And
and we done did
and
so many things together, helped each other out, dropped each other out, picked each other up. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying?
yes, yes. And it's like, you know, it, you're rare, and I'm blessed to call you my brother. You know what I mean? And it's hard to come around true friendship and stuff. Even when he was down, I still, was reaching out, except for when I started dating somebody, then I kind of.
Yeah, you know it. Having a
But he
man.
just like but he knew. It's like
Yeah, I know it's
it's
good.
got a man. It's
Yeah,
just got
having a man, it ain't good, to be writing me. You know what I'm saying? That
no,
might
it's just
not work out too
I
good.
was just busy. I was
Yeah,
just busy.
yeah, for sure.
So, but so okay, so you did the music, when you let me ask you something. When you was, locked down and stuff, what was going through your mind and like, how did you when you came out, especially this last round, right? Because this last time when you came out a beast. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, he's doing puppies, he's doing cars. I was like, what is, when you was locked, when you was sitting in that cell, what were you doing? What game plan were you having? Talk to us.
So what happened was I got convicted, and it fucked me up when I got convicted.
How long were you gone?
I was going, I believe, probably 10 years.
Okay.
So I got convicted that night, or either I got convicted or I got sentenced. I believe I got sentenced. And the night I got sentenced, I don't know what happened. My cellie wasn't there when I came back from sentencing. The cell was all to myself for some reason. And it was the first time in many, many years that I cried, right? I was uh I was 44, 46 years old. And they gave me 17 years, 3 months. And I was 46 years old. And I told myself, what the fuck? I done blew it. Like all this shit, all these times I done had. And I questioned myself, like, what's wrong? I'm a good person. I'm questioning what I do, bro. I be helping people. I ain't no bad person, man. Why am I being punished like this repeatedly? And man, I cried, and the solution came to me that night. All in that, it was about a 3 hour span of tripping, turmoil, questioning myself, trying to figure it out. And it hit me, man. My inner self told me, with all the questioning I did, without being biased, my inner self told me, you ain't a bad person, GP, but you a criminal. And all you think about is criminal shit, and then you do good shit. But your income is criminal. And since your income, even though you try to do good shit, you want to be a rapper, you want to write books, you want to do good shit, GP. You will sell cars, you will have a lot, you will have vending machines, you want to do good shit, but your priority is a criminal. And when you are a criminal, you create these enemies. And the ones that hurt you the most is the ones that's against crime. He said, my mind told me, if you eradicate being a criminal, then your gifts will work for you. Your mind will work for you. Because my mama used to tell me, you so smart, boy, you stupid. And this shit used to fuck me up. But I found out, I said, man, if I eradicate being a criminal, I will eradicate the police. I will eradicate the rats. I will eradicate the DA. I will eradicate the lawyer. I will eradicate the judge, the warden, the young 20-year-old cop telling me what to do. And the nigga just, you know what I'm saying, just got out of high school. I'm gonna eradicate not being able to be with a woman. I'm gonna get rid of all that shit. And all I gotta do is never commit a crime ever again, GP. And that also includes, nigga, ain't no cell phones. Even though a cell phone ain't a crime, I used to battle with myself. I'd be like, talking on the phone ain't no crime. But GP, it's against the rule. And if it's against the rule, then you got to look at it as a crime. If you want to get back to society, nigga, you got 17 years. If you want to get back to society, you got to start all over again. You got to build your income legally. I start writing books. I start writing a book every month. I start writing 10 pages a day. 10 pages for 30 days, that's 300 pages. Then I realized I only needed to write 200 pages. Then I realized I could write how-to books, man, and only write 80 pages and 60 pages. But I put out a book every month. And I said, I'm going to grind from the ground up. And I was broke as fuck. And I was GP the Beast in prison. The nigga that's never broke, but he broke as fuck with 17 years. It was really hard for me. But nigga, I fought through all of it. Still was the nigga on the yard calling shots. Still was able to look out for niggas some kind of way. Because I hustled. I figured out a way to hustle, but I hustled legal. I told myself, I'm not finna sell dope. I'm not finna buy dope. I'm not finna do shit in prison that niggas do. It's still my life. I used to tell myself, this is still your life. And that means, nigga, walls can't stop you. Gates can't stop you. What would if you was out, you was gonna sell in the apartments, and as far as you was gonna get your money was just in the apartments? Nah, nigga, you trapped, nigga. But your brain ain't trapped. So think of a way to make money outside these walls. And I did. I wrote them books. I knew if I wrote them books, I'd receive some kind of income. And I did. And then I created, I created sex sounds. The sex sounds was something I created for the inmates because they had took away all the pornography. We couldn't, enjoy women, but they was allowing us to buy music. So I said, I'm gonna create sex sounds and hopefully let these niggas buy this. You know what I'm saying? That way we can have sex sounds in prison. But guess what? I created sex sounds in prison, right? The shit went fucking viral. I didn't even know nothing about streaming because streaming came out while I was in prison. And the shit was streaming like crazy. I didn't even, and this crazy because I'm gonna tell you, even though I told myself I wasn't gonna talk on phones, it took me a minute to get to that level. But when I did talk on phones, I told myself, I'm not talking to try to knock no bitch. I'm not looking for her. Nigga, I'm looking for a way to make some kind of money with this motherfucker. So I was putting my books together and I was trying to find a way to make money. And I came up with sex sounds and I forgot about it because it wasn't instant. But all of a sudden, nigga, they give me a motherfucker, call me on my mail. Nigga, I had the money coming straight to the prison. They give me the mail. I get a check for 105. I said, oh, I thought it was my music because I get checks for my music every once in a while. But then I get another one 2 days later. It's for like 225. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, my shit must be doing pretty good. I'm like, okay, probably because of Mozzie, y'all. They probably doubling back on my shit. Nigga, they called me again 3 days later. I get a check for like 400. I'm like, what the fuck going on? So I tell a nigga, man, let me see your phone, nigga. Let me see. I go and look. Man, you ain't gonna believe this shit, Alita. Man, do you know these motherfuckers? My shit was at 10,000 views.
What?
It was at 10,000 views. And I said, damn, this shit at 10,000 views? That shit only had been up there like, it wasn't even 2 weeks or something. And then I came back and looked at that motherfucker, and it was at 140,000 views. Listen, it went up to like 17 million views like 3 times. Every time it went up, they shut it down, and it went right back up. Let me tell you the difference on the money part. I'm in jail. Now remember, I started getting 400 a month. Then it went up to 800 a month. I was in the hole. I was in the hole for knocking out 2 Mexicans. And I got a check. I'm getting a check every month in that motherfucker. I get a check for 800. I said, "Oh, this shit growing." So my mind, I'm going crazy. I can't wait to get out the hole because only made one motherfucking album. I can't wait to get out the hole. I said, if this motherfucker making me 800, I'm finna go make 10 albums so I could be getting 8,000 a month. I ain't gonna play. I never got it up to 8,000, but I got it up to 4,000 a month. But I only got it for like 5 months. But that was in a 2 year period. Out the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing, I made like 40,000 off of it before they killed it.
Mm-hmm.
But they killed it.
Man.
If they wouldn't have killed it, I'd have really came out of prison balling. But that's what happened, though. I changed my mindset and I told myself I wasn't doing nothing criminal. And that's what it was. And, I was able to build that over the phone on the wall, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't doing nothing illegal.
Mm-hmm.
I figured it out how to do it. I was able to do that over the wall. You know what I'm saying? Lucky I had shit from back in the day, Sacramento girls going crazy. I had footage. I'm like, man, we just gonna take the voice. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Forget the footage, just use the voice. And excuse me. And so it, I did that, and I was in there and I started buying cars and shit, on the auction, sending my money to my son, having him buy cars. I bought some trucks. My son, little GP, rest in peace. He had like 20 trucks while I was in jail. I had bought 2 trailers. I was renting it to him. You know what I'm saying? I said, I don't care about the sales. I don't care about the deliveries. Just give me 2,500 a month for my trailer. I don't want to hear about gas or none of that. I just want a flat rate. We was able to do that for like 10 months. You know what I mean? So I was making little licks up in there. But when COVID came, it fucked me up. I had
Mm-hmm.
cars stuck in the shop, all kind of shit fucked me up. I ended up coming on with I thought I was gonna come home with like, man, I'd have been on. I'd have came home with like 80,000 for sure and an income. But they had killed that. I ended up coming home with a car stuck in a at a nigga's body shop. I had to end up going to get that, but it was a high powered car. And it ended up getting me 22,000 plus the gate money. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I took that. My like you want to know about the mindset? I took that. I was flat broke. I had that car. The car I ended up selling it in about 3 weeks at the auction. In the meantime, I came home. I had to talk up on a car. I didn't have no car, so I went to the lot and I talked up on it. I told him, man, I ain't got nothing but bank pay stubs. You know what I'm saying? You remember I had been in prison. I said, I
Mm-hmm.
ain't got nothing but pay stubs. I ain't been putting no money in the bank because of the COVID. I said, but I got my own business. I'm self-employed, and I don't owe nobody. I don't owe nobody in the world. So y'all be the only people I owe. I don't know how I did it, man, but I talked them people into giving me that car, and I told them I promised to give them the pay stub, but never did. But end up getting approved for the car. Of course, it was at a high interest rate,
Mm-hmm.
but I got the car with no money down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I knew I couldn't afford the car. I didn't have no job. I knew I wasn't finna go buy clothes and do all that because I knew every dime I spent was gonna be money that was gonna be leaving, and I had no way of making any kind of money. I hadn't created no income yet. So the car. I learned about Toro when I was in jail. I put the car on Toro. I said, this the car gonna pay for itself, hopefully. The car ended up paying for itself. I ended up learning about Toro and it ended up making a profit. Okay, I'm renting on Toro. Somebody find out they got a friend. They like, I got a friend want to rent a car. I said, your friend want to rent a car? Yeah. Okay. I had moved out my mama's house because they wanted me to pay rent over there, which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling myself, I'm not going to pay no rent. I can't afford to pay rent. So what I did is went and rented a building.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know what I was going to use it for, but I was going to turn it into something. But I told myself, if I'm going to pay rent, I got to pay rent and have a building. Something got to be able to make some money where I'm in control no matter what. So I came up with the dog grooming. And I started out with the dog boarding because I ain't got no real skills on it, but you know what I'm saying? I was in prison when they had a dog program. So I got some type of, you know what I mean, skills on it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I say, I'm gonna do the dog boarding. I do the dog boarding. It's barely making money. They calling me for dog grooming. I
Mm-hmm.
said, man, okay, I don't really want to do the dog grooming. But yeah, they calling for dog grooming, and I need this money because the building ain't paying for itself, and I ain't got no income. But I'm outside that thing hustling like I was selling crack. Everybody that walked by, you got a dog? You got a dog? You know what I'm talking about? Built it up, built it up. Started from to make sure, start watching YouTube, making sure I'm doing everything right. You know, I'm learning about the game. I'm learning about this is my life. I'm living in the back. You know what I'm talking about? And I struggle.
So
And
you were grooming the dogs, or you had other people?
at first I tried to have other people doing it, but they kept faking on me. I
Um,
had one policy: don't pass up no money. Now I had some training in it, but I had to become an expert. And I
mm,
realized I can't depend on nobody.
right.
Everybody gonna let you down. They not gonna show up. They gonna tell you about their problems. It's always gonna be a reason. It's gonna be an excuse. If you want that shit to work, you got to do that shit yourself.
Real talk, y'all. Real talk. Real quick. We got JDK the boss watching. And also we're gonna talk about a forgotten one. We're gonna talk about Thursday. Yeah, and I still gotta get you my money. Yeah, GP gonna be in the building on Thursday, y'all. So
Shut it
yeah,
out. What it do?
yes. Man. So I was wondering how you got into the dog grooming, and everything and stuff. One thing I want to, kind of touch on is well, first of all, what year did you get it? You come home?
Mm, what year is it right now?
26,
I came home in 23.
23. Okay.
Came home on my birthday.
Did you? Oh, cool. Now, one thing I do want to touch on, just real briefly is, how many kids do you have?
I had five. I
Five?
just lost a little GP.
Yeah, and I want to, talk, whatever you want to say, about that. Where were you when you found out?
I was in my bed sleep, where he should have been. You know what I'm talking about? That's why I say you got to make it onto your bed. That's one thing that I learned about in prison. You know, a nigga don't want to go home to that concrete bed waking up in prison. He don't want to sleep on them hard beds night after night. So I tell niggas, man, you got to make it onto your bed. And the safest way to make it onto your bed is when it get dark, man, you should be already at home. It don't mean you got to go to sleep, but just be at home, man, where your bed at. So that's where I was at. I was in the bed when I got the call. And it's the worst call in the world. That's the call you don't want to get. You know what I'm saying? And when I got that call, of course, I called him. And, I just kept calling, but he never answered.
Mm. How old was he?
He was 36.
Yeah. So and I hit you as soon as I heard, I hit you up, you know, and everything. So I just wanted, my condolences to you, and stuff. I know, it's really hard and stuff. So I
I
hope
thought
justice
this was,
gets served too.
yeah,
So
I feel like justice gonna get served, but ain't no amount of justice to serve for that. But justice, I feel like justice definitely gonna get served. You know what I mean? And I ain't really talking about in the courts. I'm talking about just as an individual out here. You know what I'm saying? We got our street codes too. You know what I'm saying? We got our way of life too. So I feel like justice gonna be served on all levels.
yeah, yeah. Um, Before you went to prison this last time, before that, you wrote some books. So how many books has GP written?
GP wrote 60 books in prison.
60?
And
60.
60 and self-published 34 of them in prison. Yeah,
Wow.
self-published 34 of them in prison. You know, GP, my nephew told me the other day, I was on the phone with Mozzie. We talked for about 2 hours. He just called me, you know what I'm saying? He said, man, I just wanted to call you. He said, I'm seeing your country videos, man. He said, you going crazy. He said, man, you always knew how to reinvent yourself, man. You ain't coming out here jumping in the rap game, you know what I mean, trying to do some young nigga shit. You know, you really created a new genre of music and it really fits you, you know what I mean? Your age and your style, you look comfortable in it. I really think you're gonna blow with that shit. He said, but I really just wanted to say, man, that's some real game, man, to really be able to reinvent yourself like that, man. That shit crazy.
It is funny. Because I'm out here in Rosemont now, right? So I found I was going to the Happy Bar. It was my second time there. And you know how we are. We get used to the bartenders, when once we like one, make our drink. And then there was a new one. My second time there was a new one, right? And I wasn't too sure about her GP. And I was like, oh. Then me and her started talking. She said, yeah, my boyfriend's a rapper. His uncle's his name's GP. I was like, GP the Beast? And she didn't know who who she was talking to.
Right.
I gave her my history. And she go, oh, they're doing a video shoot or something. I said, when? And, so that Saturday I had Drummer Cats, rest in peace, Drummer Cat. I had her celebration life. And then I was at KDE, AB, the forgotten one. They interviewed me that night, right? I still made it to you. I was like, you know what? I gotta go. I gotta go see my brother. I
For
gotta go
sure.
pop up. And you was my last stop before I headed home and stuff. But what's your nephew's name again?
Ooh, Mozzie?
No, the one that was doing the video shoot, the one that I met, the girlfriend's a bartender.
Oh, that was that Mike Speezy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Speezy, for sure.
Yeah, so I like him. He cool.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, he cool and stuff.
mhm.
But yeah, shout out, most definitely shout out to him also. You know what I mean? But yeah, but no, you know I was gonna pull up. You know, she said we told GP. He's like, do you know Alita? He's like, yeah, I know Alita.
For sure. Nah, they told me. Now, and I was like, yeah, I know a leader because they was trying to put you on the spot. Like, nigga, you really do you know a leader? Man, hell yeah, I know a leader. You know what I'm talking about? Where she at, matter of fact? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, man, man. Yeah. So yeah, no, yeah, you was my I was tired, but I still pulled up and stuff. Um, so we talked about your past. We talked about so what are you doing? Like, did you miss out on anything what you're doing currently and what's in the future for, you know,
So,
GP, Genaro, you
you
know?
know me, I'm a hustler, man. Really, I feel like I'm behind time. You know what I'm saying? All the time I done did. I feel retarded. I feel like I should have figured this out a long time ago about, not committing crimes. I would have lived a whole much better life. So I feel like I'm hella behind. So, but the thing is, I'm working on a few things. Um, I'm it's a few things I got at the top of my list that I'm thinking about taking real serious. You already know I rent cars, I buy and sell cars, I do the grooming, I got the books. I'm coming with the country music. I'm believing in that. I'm finna put some money behind that country music. I think that's gonna create an income. See, the thing about income is this here. See, the problem is you can't look at, I want to do this and think that you're gonna get rich. You're probably not gonna get rich off one project. Some people do. Some people blow up doing one thing. But in order to really live a successful life, you need multiple income. You know what I'm saying? And some gonna do better than the others. But as long as they make a profit, just like music now, it's really pennies on the dollar. So it's all about the pennies on the dollar without you having to be there 24 hours a day breaking your back. It's all about understanding that your presence is more important than the money. You can get the money with your brain. You know what I'm saying? If you gifted and you talented and you believe in something, you need to do it. But in today's time, you want to do shit that doesn't cause you to have to physically be there. A job, I understand everybody. It's good to have a job. It's better to have a job than just be a broke person without a job. But for me, myself, I believe that a job is just what it is. It's JOB, which means just over broke. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? You're going to get your check. You're going to pay your bills. You're going to have a few dollars left for the rest of the month to try to make it. Then you're going to re-up again when you get your check again.
Mhm.
God forbid that emergency happen, you know what I'm saying? And you need to actually really need some money because, like me, I had the funeral. Man, that shit was crazy. A person ain't planning, if you're doing the right thing legally, it's hard to wake up one day and then be like, man, I done lost my son and the funeral expenses, all these new expenses about to come in. This wasn't planned. So the thing is multiple income. Multiple income. Don't be tripping off like if you invested in something and you only making a small profit. The secret of the game is as long as it's making a profit and it's consistent, then
Mhm.
you winning right there. That's
Mhm.
how you win. So I'm working on a few projects, and the music, I like music because music is enjoyable. You have fun doing it, and it can also create a really nice income. But even if it only create a little income, that's still good. You
Mhm.
still enjoying it, you still having fun, and it's creating an income. It ain't something that's keeping your attention, the whole day. You ain't got to be in the studio 7 hours every day. I mean, you could if that's your passion, but you don't have to be. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I'm working on this new project too. It's called VRM, Vision Ride Media.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
Vision Ride Media, what I'm gonna be doing is, if you got a car that's, less than 10 years old, it ain't got no dents in it, and it's running good, you know what I'm saying? Vision Ride Media gonna pay you $400 to $1,000 a month for you to wrap your vehicle.
Mhm.
Now this is gonna put money in everybody's pocket that want to nut that, like I was saying, multiple incomes.
Mhm.
If you
Multiple
got that job and you got this wrap, now your car paying for itself instead of you paying for the car. It's
streams.
about everything paying for itself. People say, well, man, GP balling. He bossing. That nigga got whips. That nigga got the Genesis. Nigga got the truck. He got the shop. And nigga don't commit no crimes. But guess what? My mindset is different. It's
Mhm.
different than back then when I used to buy the whips and I used to spend all the money on them and just ride around in them looking pretty. Nah, not in 2026. In 2026, the whip got to pay for itself.
Say that. Say that.
You
Right.
know, it's my
Mhm.
whip, but guess what? That motherfucker going to work.
Right.
Shit.
Exactly. Y'all hear
So,
that? Y'all, I hope y'all taking notes on this.
man,
Dang, this is,
man,
and you know what? It just came to my mind. You know, how we are about multiple streams of income. Man, you should write a manual.
man, I wrote a book about it, but I keep getting better and better. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you don't gotta struggle hella hard in life if you legal. See, when you illegal, that's the problem. You know what I'm talking about? When I made the money illegally, you know what I'm saying? I might have had a lot of money. I couldn't put it in the bank. I tried that. They seized it. So don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You got all these pretty cars, your jewelry, you can't really flaunt it. You know why? Because it's a timetable. Nigga, one day they going to come kick down the door. You know what I'm talking about? And
Mhm.
that ain't no good way to live. Because when I thought about it in prison, I said, man, so let's say I'm pimping, man, and let's just say, man, I got 1,000 a day. Okay, I'm smoking weed and shit. That shit finna take 100. You know what I'm saying? All I'm doing is riding around all day. That shit gonna take 100 or two. I'm flossing, I'm drinking, I'm acting like I'm a boss. I'm passing out money to people I can't even keep up with. I gotta pay for the room. That motherfucker gonna cost me 250. You know what I'm saying? And then I gotta do something for her too. Damn, at the end of the day, I ain't really making no hell of a profit. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna get rich off that. But after a while, I'm gonna go to jail. So I'm like, that shit don't make no sense. I could have been doing the legal shit. And even if I didn't make 1,000 a day, if I made 300 a day in 30 days, that's 9,000 a month. And if I made 300 a day and I kept up with my money, I wasn't getting cash, but I was using my car and my phone the way they done made all this new high-tech type technology. Nigga, I could keep up with everything I spent it on. Instead of me passing it out and having fun and act like I'm a boss, like I ain't gonna die one day. Cause I tell people, especially niggas my age, I said,
Right.
nigga, you better get your shit together. I can't, I'm like, bro, you got to be the saddest nigga in the world to be 50 something years old and you ain't got no money. You can't, you gotta ask another nigga for some money? Nigga, that don't make you feel fucked up. We only got about 18 years left to live. Nigga, who gonna take care of you when you get sick? Nigga, you better get it together. That's some sad shit if you ain't got no money. You really gotta ask another grown motherfucker for some money and you got kids and all this shit. We've been living all these years and we ain't figured out how to have some kind of money.
Mhm.
You just don't go down to no money, man.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
and I ain't trying to belittle people, but I am trying to say, take a look at that. Take a look at that.
Mhm.
If you gotta ask Unc for 200 because you really ain't got no money, like zero, nigga, that's why you gotta stomp down like I did.
Mhm.
I didn't give a fuck if they talked about me. I slept in my motherfucking shop like I was an Asian. You know what I'm saying? Like the Chinese people do. Nigga
Mhm.
had a business and a house at the same spot. I took notes. I took a page out their book. And then I stayed in that motherfucker for 2 years. And I built up my clientele. I got 5-star ratings. I'm going crazy. Over 40 reviews. The community loved me. I just got I just went in partnership for domestic violence. So, and if y'all don't know how that work, it work like this here. Say, you know what I'm saying, it's a domestic violence situation and the man or the woman don't want to leave because they have a dog there and they ain't got no place to take their dog. Man, now you can bring your dog to Puppy Love Borders. Emergency situations. Don't worry about it. We're going to take care of them. We're going to hold your dog for 30 days. And if you need an extension, you just let us know until you get it right.
All right, man. What? I like that. And real quick, I know this podcast is going crazy because Giitis just jumped on this. Perfect. Giitis. I saw Justin Sutterfield. Wait a minute. He said no GVGitis. Man,
Man,
that,
Giannis, what it do around here, man? I'm glad y'all tapping in with your boy, man. It's been a long time. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, we going crazy, man. I mean, man,
let me
she,
tell you, that was I met Giitis and Bugsy and all them at Hitwork Studio. Remember Kendrick,
man,
rest in peace, Kendrick.
man, hit Word Studio, man. Shout
Yeah,
out.
man, it's just crazy. What I want to ask you too is, with Mozzie being your nephew, did you see something in him when he was little? Because he's one of the Mozzie hot. You know what I mean?
Man, that nigga, the rawest nigga, he the rawest rapper in the world to me. The nigga go crazy.
But
Of course,
he's so well known. You hear his name from the southern, like people in the South. You know what I mean? It's just, did you see something in him when he was little, or did he come to you about? Did you give him some game about the music too? What is it?
but with Mozzie, man, it was hard not to see it. He seen me and he loved that. But I recorded his first song, took him to his first studio, you know what I'm saying? Paid for videos, helped him, get on but he was grinding. He was grinding like a motherfucker. That nigga was writing raps. That nigga was thugging in the street. He had a Yankee, you know what I'm saying, pee on some bow, and had that motherfucking pad and that pen and pad. That nigga took that pen and pad with him everywhere he went. Of course I seen it in him, man. He was incredible. The nigga was saying words I never knew. I would listen to the song 3 days later after I recorded and call him back, man. So I said, man, what noodles mean, man? He said, noodles? Oh, noodles, your brain. You know how it look like noodles? I said, oh, so you said you a noodle and shit. I said, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to put this shit together. He's so gifted, but I had him on the what was that Macamino. I had him on the Macamino as a commentator. I knew he had language. He reminded me of an up and coming E40 at the time because his language, but it wasn't like E40s, but it was different. He had his own language, and you had to catch on to what he was saying.
Mhm.
When he told me, his name was Isaiah, he had changed it to Isaiah, and then he went to Mozzie, and I asked the nigga one day, I said, so you Mozzie? He said, yeah, I'm Mozzie now. I said, what Mozzie mean? He said, money's over everything, youngin'. I said, nigga, that don't say money over everything. He said, money's over everything, youngin'. I said, oh, so the Z's is okay, okay, shout it out here. Okay, well, we fucking with Mozzie.
So when he went from Little Tim to a different name to Mozzie?
Yeah, he went from Little Tim to Isaiah. He was Isaiah at first.
Okay.
And in this, if you knew him in the streets, running through the streets in the hood, he always been kind of clever. He's been clever with the wordplay. You know what I mean? And it's still clever with it, man. It's every day. A nigga told me one time, he said, man, I like Mozzie, man, but he just say he talk about the same shit. I said, but that nigga don't never say it the same way though. And every time that nigga say it, I feel it. I felt it more this time than I did the last time. That nigga know how to put them words together for sure. You know that he's extremely gifted, man. He's extremely gifted. Longevity. You know what I mean? Smart. You know what I mean? I salute Mozzie for sure.
Yes, wow. And then so Kingdom, he's a singer, you the rapper, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Kingdom,
Uh,
Kingdom. Now that nigga's man. Oh my God. When you talking about blessed, man, this nigga got the best voice in the motherfucking world. I mean, the best voice ever.
did he always sing like when y'all was little and stuff, or?
That's the trip about it. That's the trip about Kingdom, man. To be honest with you, man, it's crazy as fuck. Like, it's hella people that knew this nigga, all the way till he was a grown man and didn't even know he could sing. Look, he didn't, it wasn't like man, listen, I don't remember him running around the house singing. I don't remember him singing songs, because we all sing. You sing a song, you're going to be like, hold on, nigga, you could really sing. I don't remember that. He used to play the drums. That's what I'm tripping on too, because he was in the group with Robert Brookers and them, Jay
What?
King. Yeah, he was in the group with Jay King and all them. They was best friends and shit. But that nigga was playing drums. And I'm like, why he wasn't singing? Bro, can't none of them niggas' voices fuck with him.
Wow.
I don't know why he wasn't singing, but it's a trip you say that, but this nigga got the rawest voice ever. Like when I go in the studio with him, oh my God. I mean, I got what I got, but this nigga got some shit.
First time I saw him was I was at the NAACP prayer breakfast, and I was like, "Well, who is that?" You know. And then later on, I found out that he was your brother. I said, "That's TP, brother."
Hey man, y'all
Wait
don't
a minute.
realize it, but we look just alike, but we just got different flavors, different styles.
And they was like, "That's Mozzie's dad." I said, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." So, yeah, it was like, man, it's just crazy, you know. So, so this Thursday, man, you still love getting on that stage. Where was your first performance at?
I think my first performance was in the ice. I think what we called that motherfucker, it was a super underground spot. It was on Norwood, and we performed. You had to climb up these stairs all the way, and you was on top of the whole crowd. And I performed that motherfucker. I performed some song. I told you I used to. I don't even remember if I was making songs or just going off the head. But
Mhm.
yeah, we was having fun. We was going crazy in that motherfucker.
Wow. So this Thursday, you're performing where?
So I'm performing. I forgot where it's at. I got to look it up on my calendar.
Sorry,
Where's it at?
AB. It's on Rio Linda Boulevard. It's I'll get the address. I'll
No,
post the address in the comments, y'all, and the
for
flyer.
sure. Yeah, man, I'm gonna be now. I know y'all like me as a rapper, man, but I'm like I told you, I'm gonna be doing my country shit, and my country shit going crazy though, man. You know what I'm talking about? Shout it out.
Man, man. Is there so who have you collab with and who would you like to collab with?
Um,
Local, famous, whatever,
oh, I'm collaborating with my nigga Polsky right now, and he going crazy. I
Mhm.
don't know if y'all know about Polsky. Y'all probably know him when you see him, but he's stupid gifted. I mean, his voice is incredible as well. And we made a whole album, man, and he went crazy on the whole album, man. If you go check out my videos, I've been posting some shorts, the videos, you'll see Posky, he going crazy. We collab real good. We also working on another album as well. But we right now I'm really focusing on pushing this album. and
Mhm.
coming with some more country music. Cause y'all gonna like this shit. This shit different for sure. It's about us. You know what I mean? I ain't doing nothing but taking it back to country time, man. But we talking about the times right now, though. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you, when I be listening, especially that soulful blues, the trail ride music, I be like, dang, like, you know, they be, like you said, they be talking about now, they be talking about the truth and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gonna hear it. It's still, man, heartfelt and painful as well. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth.
Mhm.
We out here, doing I'm the outlaw, man. You know what I'm saying? Country beast, man, the outlaw. That's the
Country.
name of the album, the outlaw.
Y'all heard it, Country Beast. Let me see. So Giada said, I remember GP must be talking about Mozzie brought him to Hitworks when he was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, he said, give GP. Do I even have your number, Giada? So I got he said, I got a brand new Cybertruck. I can rap.
Okay, shout it out. Well, nigga, we gonna need you to rap and
Oh,
bring
he's
that
in Vegas.
Cybertruck. Oh,
He's out there in Vegas.
it's good. We be going to Vegas. We pull
Okay.
up, man. That ain't far for us. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Giada, yeah, inbox me your number because I don't know. Y'all be changing y'all numbers all the time. I don't, just inbox it to me and I'll send it to him and stuff. Is there
Hey, yeah, hey.
anything?
Hey, so he remember when I brought him to Hitworks, man. When I brought that nigga to Hitworks, that nigga went crazy in Hitworks. That's when I really knew that the nigga was able to let me see, the meeting is being recorded in okay, and ARR, shout it out. So that's when I really knew that nigga's language. He was talking so much real shit. He was giving it up for my mom, which is his granny, you know, and he was so much street. I used to have to ask him, what you meant by this and what was this mean? And I said, this nigga is going crazy. He's incredible. But what I really loved about him is that he didn't rap like nobody. He didn't try to rap like niggas from his hood. He didn't pick up their style. He had his own style. And that shit was going crazy.
Which hit works was that downtown or the one that off of Auburn Boulevard?
Yeah, off Auburn. Yep.
Okay. Because
Hmm.
remember he was downtown. Remember he had the group 5150?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was the original hit works downtown. That's what
Hmm.
telling my age, you know. That
It's okay. I'm telling mine. You know what I'm talking about? I used to not want to tell them, but guess
I'm
what? I
scared.
ain't, I ain't, I don't care no more.
I'm
You know that
59.
I'm 60 and I'm going crazy right now at 60. So shit, we still, we gonna change the narrative of this shit. You know what I'm talking
Yeah, we in that good water. Y'all want to look like we don't look
about?
our age.
Yeah, that part.
Is there anything about Genaro Patterson or GP that you would like people to know that they may not know?
See, man, I don't know. It's I ain't no perfect person, you know, ain't nobody perfect. But I didn't, there's some people out there that probably didn't don't like me for certain reasons. I don't really know them reasons. You know what I mean? I feel like if you don't like me, you just don't like me for me being me. And then I can't help that part because I'm gonna continue to be me. You know what I'm saying? I don't do bad things. I don't think bad thoughts. I never try to get over on nobody. I don't really believe in the opinion of the people. I believe that, there's a most high and what you put out is what you get back. It don't matter if somebody looking or not. If somebody drop $100 and they don't know it, but you see it, it would be actually bad for you to pick it up and put it in your pocket. It would be good for you to say, excuse me, man, you dropped this. You know what I'm talking about? If you owe somebody $100, you don't get mad at them because they asking you about
They,
they money,
uh,
and if you pay them, you don't get them $90, and feel like you paid them because you don't want to give them the whole 100 because you feel like that's helping you to keep that extra 10. But in reality, it's fucking you up. It's fucking up your motion. It's fucking up your your what you put out, what you get back. You know, that 10 is fucking you up. It's fucking up, you know, your karma, everything, because it's a negative thing. If that person, if you owe him $100, you should pay him that $100. And if you took a long time, you should get a nigga something extra. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about you being a good person. And that's what this is what I be thinking about myself. You know, I could be like, for whoever hate on me, for whatever reason they bring up, I've just got to know that I'm good for the person in the mirror. The person in the mirror, gonna be like, nigga, you don't backbite niggas. You don't try to get at your partner's females, or you don't cheat niggas out of money. You don't plot on niggas. You don't hate. You don't you want to uplift. And in reality, if you look at GP done went to prison. He done fell several times, but that nigga always get back up. But like you said, this time, nigga, when you got up, you was different. When you got out, you was different. I ain't never seen you moving the way you moving like now. And it's about the reason why I can get the success from the way I move is because I move with the community in mind. You know what I'm saying? With the rental cars, it's like, okay, yeah, most of my people can't go get a rental car. They either don't got a credit card or they done fucked up because the rental car people always got some hidden fees for a nigga. They know black people do certain shit, so they gonna trip on you about weed. They gonna try to smack you every little way. Gas, mileage, too dirty. You know what I'm saying? They trying to smack you. Nah, I ain't gonna smack you. Man, it's gonna be a simple fee. You know what I mean? All you need is a license, man. Just do the car right, treat it right. I ain't gonna smack you if it come back dirty, but I'm gonna let you know, bro. My shit came back hella dirty. Might have to kick you off the list. If you ain't willing to shoot me 20 to go clean it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna remember that, man. I can't just be dirtying my shit up like that, just making the car seem like it's raggedy. But the point that I'm making is I'm
Mhm.
making it easy. Just like for the people, like, okay, too many people might have fucked over too many rental cars. All right, so I got to implement new rules. I understand now why they make rules like that. And you under 25, nigga, the deposit gonna be more. 25-year-olds do crazier shit. 40-year-olds do more cooler shit. You know what I mean? They more calm down. But then, still in all, I still want to love the people and I want to help the people. So I say, fuck it. I'm a rent, you know what I mean? I'm gonna change some rules, but I'm gonna sell cars. If you want to take my car and rent it and take it all to LA, without telling me and keep my shit, why you just don't buy a car, man? I'll help you get a car. What you need? Give me a down payment and you can give me 200 every 2 weeks instead of paying the 65 a day for a rental. It could be your car. That way you're going to take care of it better. You can go anywhere you want to in the whole world. It's your car. And I'm going to help you get in that car. That's another situation of helping the community. You ain't got to go to the car lot. They tripping. They want too much paperwork. GP don't want nothing but your driver's license and the money.
Y'all hear that? And y'all know, like it's like y'all know not to
Everybody
get
gets
over, try to
supported.
get on over them also.
Man, I put the video out of me coming to get my shit on your ass. I'll be tripping. So I'm trying to make it where I don't gotta be tripping
Did you
because
see, did
I
you
don't
see
want to
that
go
one
back
with
to
Jay
jail.
Diggs? When Jay Diggs left his place at his car at the one at Carmichael? I think they're supposed to be working on it. They took on a joyride, and
Man,
Jay Diggs. I got find it on YouTube. Boy, he posted a video and kind of told the dude about himself.
man, he went and got that motherfucker, huh?
Yeah, Diggs. He was like, yeah,
Man, you gotta go get that shit, man. I didn't posted several videos about me repoing cars. They didn't try to put my shit behind gated community and everything. Nigga, I'm coming to get my shit every time. I've been successful on every repo.
man, man. Well, fam, um, hey Nico. we keeping Nico, you been from the group unknown. He just lost his mom. So,
Man,
prayers out
send
to
my
your family.
condolence. Send my condolence for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Giadis. I remember Giadis used to sell cars. Yeah, he used to work at Ford.
Yeah,
Yeah. And in
yeah.
fact, he's the one that told me that my Ford Fiesta was on recall. I remember that.
Oh, on recall for
Yeah, and
sure.
yeah, he kind of gave me that game, but yeah, he retired for selling cars and stuff. So, um, fam, anything else before I let you go? What, in the next 2 years, what we expecting from what can we expect? More books, well, of course, more music.
Well, man, you could definitely expect more music. Like I said, I'm gonna, I'm gonna this new thing. I'm really getting more into business. You know, music is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't get rich off the music, but
Mhm.
so you really got to have something really solid. You got to make sure. You just can't chase a dream. You know what I mean? You also got to make sure you build it. I used to build on sand. After I build it up, the big bad wolf would come huff and puff and blow the whole house down. So now I done learned how to build on concrete. And when you building on concrete, you got to make sure that you got income coming in. And it got to be coming in damn near for the rest of your life. So, like I said, I'm focusing on this VRM and, of course, the dog grooming business, the cars, but and the music. It's the multiple income that really bring in all the money. It's like always having some money coming in. That's the secret. It don't gotta be a lot. It just always gotta be coming in. You gotta turn your phone into a business line, a money line. You know what I'm saying? When that motherfucker ring, you know what I mean? When you put out that certain number and you put that certain ring on that number, every time that motherfucker ring, that's the money line. That's when you get your voice changed, because you can't just, uh-oh, whatever.
And we still hear you.
Oh, we can't just answer the phone. Yeah, what's up, nigga? And all that. No, that's why you put that different
Oh.
ringer on there. So
Mhm.
you could be like, hello, this is Genaro. How can I help you? Oh man, we don't know who is it gonna be. We don't know if they want a dog groom, a dog board. They don't know if they want to buy a car. They don't know if they want to rent a car. They don't know if they want to rent an apartment. You don't know if they want to get a book. They want to buy, I got, GP, I got I got the hoodies and shit too. Hold on, let me show you. You know what I'm talking about? I got the hoodies.
Oh wait, he really got the goodies.
Man, I got hoodies and shit, man. I ain't playing. You might want to buy some GP apparel. You know what I mean? I'm going
No
crazy.
problems.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no
Wait,
problems.
wait
Only
a minute.
solutions. You know what I mean? No, I got all kind of different kind. We got the no problems, only solutions. Man, we got I ain't tripping, man. If you ain't tripping, you know
Oh,
what I'm saying? What else we got around this? Oh, we got international pay. You know what
y'all
I'm
see
saying?
this?
We got international pay. That's for my son. Rest in peace, man. Little GP, international pay. Oh yeah, we got shit. I am what I am around this motherfucker.
Wait a minute,
Apparel.
GP. It's
Yeah.
your camera.
Huh?
Your
Oh,
camera.
okay. Oh,
There you go.
y'all
Okay,
can.
there you go.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, man. Let me see. You know what I'm saying? We got the
Okay.
international pay, man. That's for the dudes that be really out there getting their bag. You know what I'm saying? We
Okay.
got that shit. We got that I am what I am, no matter what you is. You know what I mean? You could be going to church, you could have a job, you know what I'm saying? You could be in the game, but you is what you is. You know what I'm talking about?
How can they get this?
So man, we got that on Shopify. It's called International Paid Clothing. You can go on Shopify and get that, or you can tap in with your boy GP. You know what I'm saying? I send it to you. And if you're in Sacramento, man, I'll pull up on you. We got bags and bags of them, man. Yeah, GP starting his own clothing line as well.
Okay, you know what? One thing I say this to everybody. Where's the sexy stuff for us ladies?
Man, but you thought you think I ain't got the sexy stuff? Hold on.
Now, nephew, Mr. G, now you knew I was going to ask that, right? Mr. G, you knew I was going to ask.
Let me grab it for you real quick. Let me see where that shit at.
He gonna find something for me.
Oh, hold on. I got so many things over here right here. We gonna let me grab it real quick. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. Oh no, is that it? Hold on.
Let's see what he got. Let's see what my brother got for me.
Yeah, here we go. The GP ain't playing.
But I don't see it.
Sexy shit around here.
Where's it at?
Yeah. Yeah, I got the sexy stuff, man.
Okay, okay.
I
Let's
got
see.
the
Let's see what he.
let me
Okay,
see
I
what I
gotta check it.
let
I
me
gotta
see
check
what
it out.
let me see what I got in the bag around here, man. You know it's called Pretty Face, right?
Oh, so GP, we got Mr. G watching too. I love it. I love that. Yeah,
Now
I
you
still
see
call him
that?
young, so he kind of older.
You see that?
Okay,
You see the pretty face?
but what's the sleeves? Is it Okay,
Shut it
okay,
out. You know what I'm saying? That's the top. We got bottoms. You know what I'm saying? We not playing. We
that's
gonna,
it.
you know what I'm saying? Hey, we ain't playing around here, man. You can get the pretty face. You can get the I am what I am, international pay, no problems, only solutions. I ain't tripping if you ain't tripping. Tap in with your boy, man. Like I said, pennies on the dollar. It don't matter if you ain't, I might not get rich off of it, but guess what? It's gonna create income.
Exactly that
It's
part
going
right
and
there.
it's about residual income. You know what I mean? And you never know. I might get rich off of it. You never know. You know what I'm talking about? You
Uh,
never know.
yeah, GP, throw out your handles. How can people find you on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram,
so,
all that stuff?
so you know I'm GP the Boss. I'm on GP the Boss on TikTok, GP the Boss on Instagram, GP the Boss on what's they call that shit? YouTube. But then I'm also Country Beast on YouTube. I'm finna start pushing my Country Beast. You know what I mean? But you know, GP the Boss, man, you want this game? Tap in with your boy, man. I got a different kind of channel. See, my channel ain't just about books or about music or about jail, you know, about motivation. It's about everything, man. Pushing the line, man. You know what I'm saying? A nigga that's really out here trying to do it, trying to let you know, man, I done been there. I done did the crash dummy shit. Don't be a crash out. You can learn from my mistakes. Let me be the cheat code. You know what I'm talking about? I already did the time. So you can peep game with like me and you can do shit. The reason why I'm able to do so many things is because ain't none of them criminal. You see, when you a criminal, you limited, man. You
Yeah.
know, if you're gonna be a drug dealer, nigga, you only can sell so many type of dope, right? You know, so many type of drugs. It's limit. It's limit. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be a pimp, man, you know what I'm saying? You only gonna find so many type of females and so many tracks and so many places to work them. It's limited. But when you go legal, it's unlimited. You feel me?
Mhm.
Little, you can do anything. Some of them gonna hit. One of them gonna hit big. You know what I'm saying? You know, a nigga can go viral overnight.
Mhm. Exactly. Now, do you speaking of motivational, because I always told my son he needs to speak motivational. He's like, Mom, I'm not ready. So he's actually been speaking at schools and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because remember, God had after he had the Richmond SWAT team at my house when he was young, and and his dad, being murdered and stuff, and just going through what he'd been through. Now he's actually going out and speaking and stuff. You know what I mean? Is that
Mhm.
something that you do, or is you want to do more of, or
You know, to be honest with you, I think I do. I like speaking, I like, you know, telling, these young dudes, man, it's better on the other side of the fence. You know, it just really is better. You know what I mean? And I got a cold story. The one thing about me is, even when I was in prison, when they seen I changed, they tapped in on me. They was like, "We want you to do a podcast," and I was like, "Why me?" And they was like, "Because we notice when dudes change in prison, they homies don't want to be around them no more. But for some reason, you changed, but they still around you. They still listening. You ain't ran them off. Usually when a person change, they'll be like, well, bro, you need to be a Muslim and you got to quit eating pork and you got to do this and you got to do that. Or you need to be a Christian and you got to do this. And they don't want to hear that. With me, it was different. It was like, bro, GP, what's up, bro? Bro, I know you about to get out, nigga, and get them hoes. Nah, I don't pimp no more. What you mean you don't pimp? Nigga, is that shit in you? Nigga, that shit ain't on you. Nah, that shit ain't in me. What's in me, man, is trying to better my life. Trying to make sure I always chose a hustle that I felt was financially able to make me more richer than what I was. That's the past. I made them decisions when I was 19. Any nigga that still stuck on the decision he made when he was 19, if it ain't legal and it ain't making him wealthy, that was a bad decision. And a nigga shouldn't keep doing that over and over. Look at us. We in here, bro. I'm not a boss. They like, yeah, GP, nigga, you a boss. Nigga, okay, you a legend. Yeah, but I'm Boosie, bro. I'm Boosie because I'm in here with you. We both Boosie. We in jail. This ain't no cool shit. And whatever brought us in this motherfucker, we shouldn't do that shit again. We need to figure out a new plan because that one ain't working. But I didn't run them off. I mean, you can do what you do, but I'm just letting you know about me. Yeah, I'm switching my game up. You know what I'm saying? I told him, but when I became a pimp, I was one of the first niggas to decide to be a pimp, like a real nigga being a pimp. Before that, niggas was looking at pimps like nigga they was soft, they was wearing high heels and they nails getting their nails done and they didn't want to fight. Nah, nigga, I was like the first nigga that's okay. I'm on this gangster shit with this shit though. You know what I mean? What made it cool and made other niggas want to be that. You know what I'm saying? But when it get over flooded and overcrowded and they keep making up these new laws and slam your ass for it, it's time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And if it ain't made you successful, it's really time to move on.
Right. Right. That's true. It's so true, man.
I mean, we
And
can't.
this is good, fam. This is man. We gonna have to do like a part two. We done with an hour. Like we over an hour and a half, man. This is like
Serious?
a,
We done did an hour and a half already.
yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
But you know what? I mean, but and so many people are watching. You know what I mean? And that just shows how much of a legend you are. That Well, how do you feel when people call you a legend? When people call me a legend, I'll be like, at first I was like, ooh, but now I was like, oh, okay.
So when they call me a legend, it's like, well, I'm a living legend. It's good to be a legend when you're alive. It's better to become I mean, it's worse to become a legend after you die. But to be honest with you, yeah, I don't even think I'm a legend at all because I'm still trying to get the shit that I've been trying to get. You know what I'm saying? I still ain't even made $1 million. I might have went through $1 million, but I gotta have $1 million cash. I need to know that I really made it to at least gotta be a millionaire. Now I know it ain't all about money because I'm a different breed. And I don't, sometimes niggas be saying that. People that really know me, they be like, bro, that's crazy. You don't even really know who you are. Even my closest family members, they're like, it's crazy. You don't really even know who you are. But I know who I am. It's just that I want so much more. You know what I'm saying? You know, what niggas look at as, you know, a success, it was really a failure, to live that kind of life. I'm okay, I'm a boss up when I'm free, but how long am I gonna be free? And then I'm going to jail. I got over 27 years in prison. That's retarded. That's not a smart nigga. But like my mama said, I was so smart, I was stupid. I'm really upset at myself. I'm really upset at myself that I didn't catch on to this shit when I was 30 years old. I'm really upset at myself that I didn't catch on the first time I went to prison. I'm upset at myself I didn't catch on the first time I went to juvenile hall. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I didn't have niggas that rolled with me, that was rocking with me in the street. We go to jail one night, I bail everybody out. The next morning, that nigga say, GP, I can't fuck with you, man. What you mean, nigga? I got us all out. Nah, nigga, but fucking with you gonna get us back in. Bro, you crazy. You be tripping. I'm mad at myself for not learning. You know, what took me so long to learn from my mistakes? And, you know, I be trying to let niggas know about these mistakes so they don't make them. And I don't know why I do that shit. I don't do that shit for no views or nothing. I just do that shit because I want niggas to be better. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, that shit fucked my mama up. That fuck your kids up. This shit is petty as fuck. It get a white folks control over you. They tell you when to go to sleep, when to wake up, when to eat. Nigga, you gonna get limited visits. You not gonna wake up with no woman. You not finna be having sex. You not finna hold no real money. Nigga, who wanna live in a world like that with a wall around you and all you niggas trapped up in there like cattle and they making your ass get up and go to work for 13 cents an hour? Who wanna live like that year, day after day, month after month, year after year? And I'm talking about year after year after year after year. It's easy as fuck to get up in there, but it's hard in a motherfucker to get out.
Mhm. That's real talk, y'all. That is so real talk. And I feel you about the mothers because watching my son, you know what I mean? And then like you know, he did that, stupid stuff when he was young and stuff. Then to watch him, own barbershops, do the credit repair, the business funding, you know what I mean? And just yeah, he's still learning about friends, but he's still private, but he's still learning about who to tell, who not to tell, who to trust, not to trust. But he's on his business. My son's always, like
Sound
you,
like
he's
he
on his
doing the right
business.
shit, because if he been in prison, he done already learned about friends.
But lucky he didn't go to prison. He just is like in the Contra Costa, and stuff. So, but
Well, you know, keep the circle smaller than a dot. I ain't gonna even play with you. Now,
right.
I fuck with the community. I mean, I fuck with everybody. I could go to any hood, any street, any store. You know, I'm by myself. Everybody love me. It's always love. It's never not love. I don't that that's rare, but that's how it is for me. But nigga, my circle small as a dot. You know what I'm talking about?
Has to be. I know people's like, Alita, you know a lot of people, but you really don't hang. No. Mm-mm. I go out and I speak to everybody and stuff, but I drive myself there. I don't ride with nobody. Not ready to go, I can go. You
Hey
know.
man, if you hang too much, man, they'll get tired of you, man. You gotta
Yeah,
let them miss you sometime.
right. Question real quick. Were you ever signed to a label?
I was signed to Death Row Records.
That's GP. Why did we miss that?
I don't
How did
know.
we miss that? That's
Hey.
what. Man, okay, real quick before we go, we got to talk about that. How did you get signed to Death Row? Tell us that story?
So I got signed to Death Row Records because they was slapping my shit. LA really liked my music. So they was slapping, the Mexicans was slapping my shit in prison. Suge Knight was in prison. And he was in there with my nigga Ray Lynn. And Suge was like, man, that nigga right there, raw. And Ray Lynn was like, nigga, that's my nigga, which I call the nigga all the time. He like, nigga, you don't know that nigga. He like, bro, I'll call the nigga right now and let you, nigga, I call him all the time. So he called me. Bro, you know this nigga Suge up in here, bro. He acting like I don't know you and shit. I told this nigga, you my nigga. I was like, that nigga Suge in there. He like, yeah, bro, he on your shit, bro. He want to fuck with you. I said, all right, tell that nigga to call this number. I gave that nigga Sonny D number, blow you up promotions. You know, because that nigga was the one promoting me at the time, fucking with. So this nigga calling right now.
Who's Sonny?
Yeah, he calling right now. I got
Not
him.
Sonny Bland. You talking about Sonny Bland?
Sonny Bland. He calling right now while we talking about him. So so this nigga, I give him Sonny Bland number. I ain't paying no mind. You know, I'm pimping and shit. They call me. I got my girls out there. They washing my car. So this nigga called me. He like, bruh, this nigga, you ain't gonna believe what happened. I said, what happened? He said, nigga, I just got off the phone with Suge Knight. I said, nigga, quit playing, nigga. You ain't. We got off the phone, nigga. I'm not playing, nigga. He asking me, nigga. He liked, nigga. He heard the song finally, but he said, you got some more shit, and I played that nigga the call, and he said, nigga, okay, nigga, can you niggas come to L.A.? So I'm calling you right now, nigga. Can we come to L.A.? I said, hell yeah, nigga, we can come to L.A. You know what I'm saying? Hello, how you doing? So that's what happened.
Oh my
And
God.
we got on the plane and we went to Death Row Records, you know what I'm saying? And nigga went through, we seen all the shit, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, they all on the wall. That nigga had pictures of Snoop Dogg with bullet holes in him, though. That's when he was funking with Snoop and all that. And you know,
Lord.
we nigga red carpet everywhere, nigga the whole shit. And I'm like, nigga, we at Death Row Records. Nigga, that night, they take me to the House of Blues. Um, who was I with? Oh, Second to None. The
Oh,
rapper nigga Second to None. Yeah.
I interviewed them. Yeah.
Yeah. They took me to the House of Blues and we recorded we recorded the call over. Oh
Mm.
no, I sold him the call. I got signed and he gave me 10,000 for the call that night
Oh
on
wow.
everything.
Wow. Man, how long were you with Death Row?
So after that, you know, I was with Death Row, but remember that the Suge was in jail. So Suge got out of jail and he changed it to the Row.
I
They
remember
didn't
that.
they didn't know he didn't know that when he got out, what happened was they blackballed him. All the jewels in the game because all the shit he had did when he had Death Row, he was smashing on niggas, smashing on record labels, smashing on the music industry. He was lightweight, pretty much bullying shit. But Death Row was killing the game, and that nigga was bullying the whole industry. So when he failed and he lost his distribution deal, you know what I'm saying? Interscope took their shit.
Yeah.
They blackballed him and was like, nigga, we not fucking with you no more. So the road never was able to go nowhere. So it was over pretty much for the music shit. I mean, he could have went into movies. I don't know why he didn't go into movies, but I guess, it's going back to saying, when you do something, at 19, you be stuck, especially if it gave you success. That nigga was one of the richest niggas like in the game at one time. That nigga was worth 300 million. Nigga, that nigga owned all his masters. He would have been considered the most brilliant nigga in music if he wouldn't have fucked it all off.
Right. I don't know who. I think it might have been the forgotten one. Was he was locked up with Suge, and I think he must have called Toby, Tennessee, and Toby put Suge on the phone with me, right? And Suge said to me, he goes, "I know who you are. You take good care of my label." He know I was playing the videos. They used to send me giveaways to give out to the viewers and everything. But Suge knew who I was. He was like, "I know who you are. You took." He told me you took good care of my label, you
Oh,
know. Because
so
anytime I got a death row video, I aired it right away.
for
You know,
sure, for
and
sure.
stuff. I was like, "Whoa, okay," you know.
Now, they be paying attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. And that y'all, that was before the internet.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
internet for sure.
That was all before the internet. So,
All I'll be telling people like, I'll be saying, because I fuck with young niggas. I fuck with niggas. I really tap in. They call me Unc. They love me to death. You know what I'm saying? And or they call me Big Bruh. But I be telling niggas, see, I know why niggas is fucked up. It's because of the internet. And I understand it. Because see, on the internet, nigga, you can look like you bossing up. You can have any look you want, but it ain't really your real life. But see, back in the day, when me, GP was out there, nigga, I was going from hood to hood. I was pulling up in drops. I was pulling up in lax Benzes. You knew I was real. I was about my money. I fucked with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's how my name became GP. We didn't have internet. So, but nowadays, niggas know they can fake it so much, they don't even really focus on really having the bag. They just focus on having the look. Because if you look good on TV, to them, you don't even gotta have the money.
Then they get robbed and stuff.
It's just that
They tell all their business on. They film everything. They
they tell everything, they film everything, and you know when they get some money, because every time they get some money, they gonna show you. Nigga, I got the money. But it make it look like they got it all the time, but they only gonna show you, nigga, every time they get it. And when they get it, they got it. But nigga, 2, 3 days later, that shit gonna go all the way back down again. And then
not,
whatever they did, they
you
gotta
know
go do
what?
it again.
They got that fake movie money that look like real money too.
Oh, that's why niggas be having so much bank on that, looking like how this nigga get rich. But then I just see this nigga at the store asking me for a few dollars. This shit fucking me up, man.
Crazy. Well, man, fam, we could go on and on, but you know what? I would love tell Mozzie I want to do an interview with you and him.
Man, let me tell you one thing about Mozzie, pay attention to everything. You know what I'm saying? If you airing this motherfucker, yeah, he gonna watch it.
He probably
So
gonna be like, "Man, she did do my interview."
uh, you know what I'm saying? I'll definitely shoot the
That
word
would be
though.
a good one. That would be a
Yeah.
good one.
No, you man,
And Kingdom. We
and
got the
Kingdom.
fam.
No, oh, everything, huh? Get the whole family around this motherfucker, huh? That man,
Exactly.
hey, that's crazy because we ain't never all did an interview. You know what I'm saying? We just all be on our separate shit. That is some crazy shit. But I just thought
Now
about
we
that shit.
set it up, GP. We about yes, we
Man,
about to.
you gotta make that happen up.
Yes, everybody could be in their own house, wherever, Yeah, that would be the tightest. GP the Beast, Kingdom and Mozzie.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay, it's GP the boss now though.
Oh, GP the boss.
Yeah.
GP.
My
No,
mama
no,
is a
no. It's
country beast.
Country Beast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My mom,
I gotta get you. My brother, he knows I gotta get you. So the name.
hey man, I already know, you got to get used to this new shit. But like I said, the world is changing every day. In order to keep up, man, you got to be able to keep able to elevate.
Right. Exactly. Well, fam, I love you. Once again, your social media handles is what?
GP the Boss, tap in with your boy GP the Boss on Instagram. Tap in with your boy GP the Boss on YouTube. Tap in with your boy on TikTok. You know what I'm talking about? We go and Facebook. We going crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get them books is by Genaro Patterson. Remember that. You can go get the Mozzie books. They talk about how Mozzie came up in the game. We got I got every, like I
Wait a
said,
minute, the books is on Amazon or what?
they on Amazon. Yeah,
Okay.
the books is on Amazon. The music, the country beats. Check out. I did already drop an album, but this album go way crazier. That's when I was first coming out. You know what I'm saying? But country beats, check me out and tap in with your boy though. On Instagram and all that, man. I be talking some real shit, man. You know what I mean? Follow and tap in. It's real game.
All right, stay tuned. We're about to do that legendary interview, the one of a kind interview. We're about to
Hey man, we're gonna try to get the legendary interview, man. You know,
yes.
Mozzie, Kingdom, and GP the Boss, also known as the Country Beast, and we're gonna come with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out our game, fill his pocket up with a little bit of change, man.
What,
Tap in.
what's that saying you always say?
Shout it out. You know what I'm
And
talking about?
I wasn't gonna let you finish this interview without saying that word.
Man, I'm gonna get the shout it out in, man. It's just natural, you know what I mean? Hey, Alita. I love the interview. You went crazy. You asked all the right questions. It was beautiful. Tapping in, you looked really good. You know what I'm saying? Look like you ain't even aged a day. Oh my God, you just going crazy. You know what I'm talking about?
John. Yeah. How about to hit that 6-0 next year?
Damn, man. But hey, man, hey, whatever you eat, man, send me the recipe. You know what I'm talking about? Because hey, you're doing really good, and I'm proud to see you still in the game, man, and still pushing the line.
All right. But thank you so much. Don't forget this Thursday, Catch GP and the Forgotten One. I'll put the flyer and everything in the chat and catch it on my Facebook post. All right.
My
I'll see
boy,
you Thursday.
My boy Rico gonna be there too.
Oh, Rico the Great.
Man, Rico the Great, man. We got to give it up for Rico the Great
Heck
too, man.
yeah.
Nah, you feel me? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna be a good night, man. Y'all come on out. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna have fun.
exactly. All right, fam. I'll see you Thursday. All right.
All right, shout it out.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good night. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.